time of the week, an hour to give. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Sam Laprade. This time every week, we talk about community, philanthropy, and volunteerism. And this week, we are featuring Causeway Work Centre. I love this organization. I can't wait to tell you all about it. We've joined Julia Roger joining me today. Hello, Julia.
Hi, Sam.
Nice
it's great to be here.
Nice to see you. And give me a sense what your title is.
Yes, so I'm the Director of Fund Development at Causeway.
Yeah.
Causeway is a mental health organization focusing on employment. So we see people with mental health related barriers to employment or perhaps a disability, anything that's preventing them from entering and staying in the workforce. We can help them overcome those barriers and find meaningful work.
It's amazing. And Juliana, walk me through, when you think about all of the people that would walk through your doors looking for help, who are we talking about in our community?
Yeah, so I mean, it could really be anyone, but it's anyone who's experienced a barrier to entering the workforce, and that could be a range of things. It could be anxiety, it could be a different type of mental health challenge, it could be a disability, or it could be many compounding factors together. But what a lot of people experience is the fear around the stigma of mental health and disability. And what we try to help do at Causeway is to reflect people's strengths back at them so that they can see really what they have to offer, because everyone has something so invaluable to offer to our community, and our community is so much stronger when everyone has the chance to participate.
Beautifully said. How difficult was the pandemic for Causeway and for the people that you serve?
It was extremely difficult. There was lots of job loss around the pandemic. Different industries were especially impacted, especially the ones who a lot of our participants work in, such as the service industry, was severely impacted. The whole face of work changed. And now in the recovery period from the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of different industries that are looking for people and struggling to find qualified workers. And we at Causeway have tons of people who are ready to work, they're willing to work, and they just need that chance. They just need to be given the chance.
When I think about Causeway and all the conversations we've had over the years, I think about you as a hub. And you are bringing all of these different stakeholders together. Who's at the table, Juliana?
Yes, so that's exactly right. So we bring together not just job seekers, but employers. So bringing everyone into that conversation to see what a job could look like. Sometimes we do some job modifications. So we would work with an employer, say if someone is having trouble in the training period, getting some of their tasks down or remembering certain things, we can work with them to help them overcome those challenges so that they will be successful at work. And so bringing all those people together, as well as our community partners, as well as other community organizations, because as much as Causeway does, we can't do it all. We know that. And sometimes our participants are facing multiple barriers, including food insecurity, or maybe they don't have housing. And so we can help them through our community support services to connect them to those other services so that they can then become ready to job hunt.
The word that keeps coming to my mind when I think about Causeway is solution. You're a solution to so many challenges, and being all in one spot is obviously beneficial. How do people come to you? Are they referred to you? Are they self-identifying? How does that work?
Yeah, so it really works both ways that you've mentioned. So people can self-refer and come to Causeway, or they can be referred to us by another community agency. Everyone's journey with Causeway would start at our intake office, and that's where we would identify, or have you identify, what your goals are, what you're hoping to get out of coming to Causeway, and what challenges you feel you faced so far. And then we can help connect you to the right avenue to employment. And this is really great because it's flexible to the person. You can access multiple programs and services at the same time. For example, you could be receiving employment support and you could access our wellness center or our resource center. And we really encourage that. We encourage you to use Causeway as a space to get what you need to find employment. And we're not the ones leading that process. We let you lead. We're there to support you. We're there to reflect your strengths back to you and to really show you what's possible.
Is it about independence as well? Like you talk about sort of having someone lead their own journey. Is that part of building that self-confidence in someone?
Yes, it absolutely is. It's a lot of people, when they first come to Causeway, they will see that there is that lack of self-confidence. And that's one of the first tasks that we have, is to help you build that up and to help you to see what you have to offer. Because if you don't have that confidence, you might not know really what opportunities are available for you out there. You might be having a limited scope. But once you feel that confidence, you can have the ability to dream and set bigger goals, and we can help you attain those goals.
Talk about dreaming. Dream for me.
Yeah.
Where do you think Causeway is going? Where's this organization going in this city?
Yeah, well, okay, that's a great question, because we've been around since 1977, and last year we served almost 1,200 people on their journey to employment. And so what's next for us? Causeway is always changing. We're always inventing new social enterprises, for example, that can help people, help employ people, and also help them to get jobs within the community. But one of the things that we're really excited about that's coming up next is we're going to be introducing an employment drop-in resource through our resource center, as well as pre-employment workshops that will allow people to really build those foundational employment skills, so that they feel ready to work, and can also help them sustain employment long term.
Well, that's amazing. And one of the reasons I'm so excited about Causeway is you introduced me to Causeway, right? I mean, years and years ago. Sam, do you know about Causeway? So for those that may not be familiar, where are you sending us?
Where are we sending you?
Yeah, for a website, or is that the best?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah. So you can visit www.causewayworkcenter.org. You can find us there. We're also across social media platforms. We're located in the Hintonburg neighborhood at 22 O'Meara Street. So you're always welcome to drop by. I would love to give you a tour, tell you more about what we have to offer, and
And you're looking for fundraising dollars. I mean, this time of year is the giving season. So inspire us, Juliana. Tell us what you're looking for.
Yeah, so we would really love, if you have the capacity to give, to consider giving to Causeway, because the two areas, or some of the two areas that really help us be unique in the employment space, is even though we're focused on employment, we're also looking at the person as a whole. So we take a holistic approach to each person, and we're giving them the support that they need as an individual to feel ready to work. So those two areas are the Resource Center and the Wellness Center, and they both rely on donations to operate. And I would just really love to see those areas supported so that more people can work regardless of the barriers they face, and it can really help to change the way someone thinks about their entire future.
And so you're, obviously the organization is making these beautiful matches between employers and people seeking work. What's that like? Is it as magical as I dream?
I think it is. Yeah, because we want it to be a good relationship for both people, right? Both for the employer and the employee. We want it to work out. So we provide a lot of flexibility and a lot of communication, and we just help to make those connections, because we want it to be a good and lasting fit.
No, that's wonderful. And is there somebody that, when you've had kind of maybe a long day, we all have long days at work, is there someone that sort of you think about and it spurs you to keep going?
I mean, there are too many people to count, but yes, there was someone early in my role at Causeway who I interviewed, and she had a really difficult time. She was having trouble both, in how she thought about herself, but also in showing up on time and things like that. And she had this dream of having a job, her dream job, but she didn't think it was possible whatsoever. And during the course of her time at Causeway and coming to the Resource Center and working out in the Wellness Center and making a habit out of that, it really transformed how she approached the world, and it allowed her to get that dream job. And it was it was really magical, the transformation, but it's also not unique. I see it every day.
And are family members and parents, elated as well for the person that gets to connected through Causeway, because they may have sort of seen somebody struggle in their journey, and this seems to be this wonderful opportunity.
I mean, that's how Causeway started. It was parents of people with disabilities coming together and saying, I want something more for my child, and I want them to see how great they are, and I want to see a different way that they could interact with the community through work. And that is fully possible. And Causeway was born, and I mean, the rest is history.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when people get connected, do they stay connected? Is that something, even if they find employment, do they come back to you, report how they're doing? If they're maybe looking for other work, do they come back again?
Yes, we see people come back all of the time because they feel that Causeway is somewhere where they belong. And they're accepted, there's no judgment, they feel supported. And once they feel that, if they do need to come back, say they experienced a job loss, we do often see them come back for employment support. But we've also, by the same token, had lots of people say, you've given me the tools that I need to look for work, and I can do it on my own now. So both are fabulous, and yeah.
You
wonderful.
Just lit up when you said that part. Yeah, because that's really what it is. That's the core of it, right?
It is.
And this time of year, as we mentioned, the giving season, lots of different ways to give. I love inspiring people to give monthly because they can sort of budget that philanthropy throughout the year. Is that something that Causeway does as well?
Yes, we highly encourage people to become monthly donors to Causeway. We call our monthly donors bridge builders, actually, in the Causeway theme of things, because we're helping to connect people to opportunities, and that's what our monthly donors do every single month. It's a sustainable way to give. It's a way to give that's a low burden on our operations. So a lot more is going to the people that we're serving, and it's just really wonderful to see so many committed individuals become monthly donors to Causeway.
Absolutely. You're very humble in what you do. You're very good at what you do, and thank you so much, Juliana. You've really introduced this organization to me over a number of years, and now we told everyone about it, so that's great.
I'm so pleased.
I'm hoping people connect with you. Juliana Roger joining us today and talking all about Causeway. She's the Director of Development. We are just getting started. Causeway Work Centre is our theme today. We're going to talk about all things Causeway. 3 other guests coming up. You're going to hear all different perspectives. I'm Sam Laprade. This is an hour to give. Stay with us, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade, and as promised, this week we are featuring Causeway, and Margarita Alfonso joins me now. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Good, thank you. And thank you for having us
I'm
today.
so happy you're here. Tell me what your role is.
I am the manager of employment services at Causeway, but I started my journey there by being the resource center coordinator, and at some point I also formed part of the central intake community supports team.
So you're essential to this organization. You've got a long history with them, which is wonderful. So give us a sense. What's an everyday for Margarita? What does that look like?
Okay, so I'd like to talk about the resource center because sometimes I refer to the resource center as Causeway's hub. The resource center, let's talk about logistics first. It opens Monday to Friday from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. We have computers set with free internet access, a photocopier, a printer, a fax machine, and a phone that job seekers can use to connect with potential employers and send their applications. The Resource Center provides an extra layer of support to all Causeway's programs and services, and in that sense, we do assist. We take drop-ins, but we also serve the community. So we take drop-ins as well, and we do provide one-on-one assistance when possible. And what kind of assistance? Well, employment-related services. So we do, for example, do lots of labor market exploration leading to identifying or clarifying employment goals. Resume and cover letter writing. We do lots of tailoring. We also assist with job searching, sending applications, preparing for interviews, and even contacting employers. And then, well, who does this? Our staff. Our resource center staff is very friendly, very approachable, caring individuals. We accept volunteers in our resource center. And we also supervise students doing their field placement at school when they are taking programs in social services. Currently, we have 2 wonderful students from Carleton University doing their placement with us in our resource center. Generally, the students stay with us the entire academic year. And I think it's a great opportunity for our organization to interact with the community, but at the same time, it brings the relevance of bringing together education and training with employment. From also, I would say that it's relevant. Well, it's good for the school because they need to. It's part of their academic goals, but then for the students, because they get the experience. And for us, what they do, providing support to us is great.
That's wonderful. And so give me a sense, when you started to work at Causeway, did you ever expect to sort of be there for this length of time? Did you expect to sort of have your whole heart taken in by them?
Well, when I came to Causeway, my background is as a teacher. I think I kind of job developed for myself because I was trying to get a place where I could, I was seeking stability. And so this resource center coordinator position came up. It was a part-time. And I thought, well, as a teacher, I started thinking in terms of my skills, and I thought, I can do this. Definitely there is a learning component and a teaching component when you are assisting individuals preparing for employment. And that's how I came to Causeway. So at the very beginning, I didn't think that it was going to be something lasting. But, shortly after I started working part-time, I was offered the opportunity to work full-time. And guess what? My answer was, yes, I want to do this. Yes.
And so tell me what it's like when you meet someone for the very first time and you know that their goal is to be working in this community. What's that like for you? Well,
I think I empathize with them, first of all, because at some point I was looking for a job myself, and so I think it's important from the very beginning. I think the most important thing is to establish a rapport with the individual, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel that they are heard, not being questioned, not being judged. Just we are here to help. And the reason why I say that is because our resource center users, they face multiple barriers to employment. Sometimes, well, in terms of a disability, it could be a physical, mental, developmental, or learning disability, but it's not just that. It could be a combination. It could be these individuals are facing basic needs. And when talking about basic needs, I can talk about housing. Housing is a big thing. Transportation, family, language, and age, legal issues. And if on top of that you add a lack of self-confidence, a lack of guidance, a lack of networking, you know, it's a lot. And so making sure that they feel comfortable, that they feel welcome when they come to our center, it's I think it's the first thing that comes to my mind. And you know, and I think it's not just about the message, it's about you convey the message. Because when things come from your heart, you know, they are powerful. Because you really mean it, right? And this is something that I think I experience every day.
And I haven't experienced that with you, but I can tell you I know that someone that would walk in and spend time with you would feel welcomed and they would feel hopeful.
Thank you. Yeah, and honestly, I really mean it. It's a great opportunity to give back to the community, to assist individuals, and one important thing also is the fact that you know, each individual has value. Respecting individual choices and assisting them in their pathway towards employment. I always say that the pathway towards employment is not a straight line. There are many factors associated, and it is important, like when in terms of the complexity of the challenges that these individuals face when they are looking for a job, and they say, you know, I can only work 8 hours. These 8 hours mean a lot, and this is something that I think is worth talking about, because I understand employers as well, because sometimes they say, well, I'm not going to hire you for just to work 8 hours. However, making employers understand the value that will be added by this individual, and eventually getting an employee who will be faithful and you know, and useful and you know, and happy is great.
That's wonderful. What would you say to an employer that's listening right now and they've never worked with Causeway before? Inspire them, Margarita.
Okay, so I would say believe in individuals. Give us the chance. Give individuals the opportunity to move forward in life, and it will be very rewarding. That's what I would say. Yes.
Yeah, beautifully said.
Yes.
Would you do anything else in terms of work? I mean, is this where your heart is?
Yes, absolutely. I would say there are so many anecdotes. And why what we do at Causeway is so rewarding. Sometimes clients tell me, Margarita, you are always happy. and I say, well, you know, when I come to Causeway, I forget about everything else. It's not that I am human. I also have problems, you know. But I always get a call, you know, from someone. You know, you have asked about what happens at the very beginning. What a joy when you get that call and someone telling you, Margarita, I got it. I got that job, and then you know. It's priceless. I get so happy, and then I pass on this happiness to others. Right. And
yeah. And you're doing that today. You're doing that today.
Thank you.
And for someone that's never thought about Causeway from maybe one of their loved ones, or someone's listening right now, inspire them to reach out.
Okay. At Causeway, we care. We are a small group of people so willing to help. So please come to us, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, beautifully said, beautifully said. There's just so much that you offer. I think it's, this is one of the reasons we wanted to do an hour to give with Causeway today, is to share all the different layers. You call it a hub. I called it a hub in the first segment today too, with Juliana, just speaking about how you really do bring all of these stakeholders together. And this time, obviously, we're looking for some fundraising dollars, so hopefully we can inspire people to give as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's great. Just one more thing, because in terms of anecdotes, I have so many. But the day before yesterday, there is one of our resource center users, and I just said hello, and then they disclosed to me that they had just lost their job.
Oh.
And I was so sorry, and just my first thought, well, how can I help? You know, I am here for you. And just they said, I just wanted to be here. I just wanted to be here.
Beautiful.
And so I gave the individual like my contact information and said, you know what? Reach out whenever. And then yesterday I got a text from the individual, from this user, telling me I have started sending applications again.
I love that. I love that.
So yeah,
that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing time with us today. Margarita Alfonso joining us today from Causeway Work Centre. We're learning all about Causeway today. I know you'll want to come back on An Hour to Give. Thank you so much for joining us. We're back talking about all things Causeway Work Centre today on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade, and guess who I have in studio? My new friend Jazz. Jazz, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm so happy you're here. So tell us a little bit about connecting with Causeway.
I actually didn't hear of Causeway since actually of this year. I had brain damage. Well, I have brain damage since I was a baby. So I didn't go to school. I wasn't connected with that. I was mostly homeschooled. But last year I wanted to do something in school, or just finishing up my high school and college stuff. And then we went to an event, and they told me about Causeway, and I was a student there. And then in March I was placed into the kitchen.
And tell me what kitchen?
Crackers Catering.
Okay, so it's delicious.
Yes.
I know this because I've eaten the food.
Yes, Crackers Catering.
It's fantastic. So tell me about being in the kitchen for the very first time.
The first time, I was just a dishwasher. It was mostly quiet. It wasn't popular. It wasn't really big on stuff because when Causeway was still running and stuff, and the pandemic, before that, it was like, what I've heard was 300 sandwiches in one day, and it was packed. But now, since getting back in there, we didn't have much. But now, since I'm a prep cook, I'm a cashier, there's new people. We're getting mostly every day, is mostly prepping for things and new things. So it's really, really exciting that, each day I get to make new foods.
How has Causeway changed your life?
They saw who I was. They saw that I am a person, and they wanted help, and they're just great. And they see other people for who they are and try to help in the best way that they can. And they're just wonderful.
That's wonderful. And who are you? Tell me about you. What do you like to do? How do you spend your free time when you're not at Crackers?
Just hang with friends. I'm a person that I'm actually transgender, female to male. I came out when I was 11, so I hang out with friends in the LGBTQ community. I'm a mentor for younger kids who went through what I went through at times. Just hang with friends and mostly spend time in my room cleaning or sleeping.
Yes.
Because I'm tired.
I need to do more cleaning, so you've inspired me today. Yes, yeah. And so talk to me about a day that you're going to Crackers. So you wake up in the morning and it's a Crackers Catering day. How does your mind work in terms of that you're heading to Crackers?
alarms, know my schedule before, and figure out, the timing and the schedules on when I have to be there. And as soon as I step onto the Causeway, I focus, get to work. Just my brain goes into the kitchen. The first thing I do, put my stuff down, get my boots and hat on and my apron, look at a list, because on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we have sandwiches that have to go out to, I believe, to the Royal. So I look at the lists and what we have to do that day, and I get it done. There are times where my mind goes somewhere else, but I start work as soon as I step onto the steps. But I prep the day before.
Yeah, no, that's great. Can I tell you that I'm not very good in the kitchen, so I have a lot of respect for people that are. So thank you very much for everything you do in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And tell me, when you talk to your friends and family about this opportunity through Causeway to work at Crackers, what do you tell them about your work?
Just, new experience, and my sibling might go to Socials for Youth next year, but they love it. They love what Causeway is doing for other people. Causeway is a big help, and the reason why I want to still work there is because I know what it's like to have a disability. I know what it's like, and I want to help Causeway get out there and have people to feel safe enough to ask for help, because I know that people who get bullied for what they have, and anyone who, whatever they have, I know they're afraid to ask help sometimes, and it feels like people don't understand them, but Causeway does. Causeway understands, and they try to help in the best way they can. So they love Causeway, they love what they're doing, and I try to get Causeway out there as much as I can.
You're doing a beautiful job today.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the word safe. I really picked up on the word safe for Causeway. I think about safe, I think about trust,
Yes.
I think about collaboration, all of those sort of terms. Those are really important because they're making this link in the community. Talk to me a little bit more about the safety trust piece.
We try to, Crackers Catering is trying to get, people in for food, on on cold days. And then we have the housing resources, I think that's what Margarita was saying. And then, the bus tickets, and then we have someone that, is needle hunters, so he comes and helps clean, just Causeway's trying to make this place better for people, who's on the streets, who comes in asking for food, asking for those kind of stuff. Sometimes they can deliver it, but also they can help with support as well. So that's what I mean safe, and that trust, because we're here to help you no matter what state you're in. So that's what I mean, there's a trust, there's safety, you feel like you can actually belong. I actually talked with, back in July, just my story is on Causeway Network, and I said that I want to start a chain reaction, and for those who is out there who is struggling, that I'm proud of them. Because I have friends who struggle, they go, "Hey Jazz, guess what?" And I'm like, "What?" "I woke up today. I am so proud of you." If someone who hears that will have a better day, and so that's why I'm with Causeway as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so someone might be listening, might be watching us right now and thinking, I'm a little bit nervous to reach out.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say to them, Jess?
Just breathe and take your time with it, because Causeway is not going anywhere. We go by your pace. We are not so fast with it. When you're ready, you're ready. But just expect that you're going to be taken care of in the best way you can, and they're there for you. They're not here to judge you. You're not here to tell you what you can and can't do. They're here for you in your own time.
And we've talked about that with a couple of other guests, that forging that path for yourself, right? I mean, I think it's human that not every day is going to be rainbows and unicorns, right? And so forging that path, and maybe it's 2 steps forward and maybe it's 1 step back.
Yeah.
But you got to keep moving, right?
Yeah, you gotta, keep moving. And if you slip up with anything one day, we're still here. We're not going to deny you. I mean, there are days where I can pick up someone is not really feeling it. And me, I'm a very goofy person. You step in the kitchen and you see me being sassy, you see me, but also being serious. But when I'm in the canteen, I mock my coworkers or the people there, but I can pick up when someone's not in the mood. So I'm just giving glare, or I'm sassy, or I just
You're trying to make them feel good.
Just a smile.
Yeah.
And in one of my stories it says that you don't have to trust us, but if you give us 1% of your trust, that's what we'll take. For me, it's any type of trust, but for Causeway, 1%, we will take that, and then build that on.
For sure. And you start as a dishwasher, prep cook, you're working in the canteen.
Yeah.
So building on those skills, do you sort of see how that happens? You're like, oh, I could use this skill in another area. Do you have dreams of maybe future opportunities as well?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, my mom was saying that I wanted to work in the kitchen, and when I was in my early teens, like 12, 13, me and my brother were actually talking about opening up a huge buffet for the homeless people to come in for free and serve those people. And when I was a dishwasher, I was looking for a job. And then, when I said earlier that there wasn't, much to do, I learned how to do the cash on my own. And that's what built the trust of my bosses, because I am willing to learn on my own. I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to ask for help, and then, I just kind of asked and not push, but push that I'm willing to do these things. So now I help with the cooking, I help teach sometimes with the cashier stuff, and I'm a dishwasher when I can be. So, and moving forward, I want to stay with Causeway as long as I can. But I think the best role is for me to be in the kitchen because I love to make food.
I can tell. That mentorship piece is important for you,
Yes,
right? You've obviously been mentored. You are mentoring. How important is it to see both sides?
Both sides is great because I can, we have to learn to be patient in the kitchen. And so because I am a patient person, but there are days where I'm not, so I have to, be guided. And I have bosses who understands that we have disabilities and try to be patient. So I learn off of that, and then when I go into my mentoring, I give that patience back, and that's what a chain reaction I want: patience, the love, the care you need. So.
You've created a chain reaction today.
I did. On Causeway website, my whole story is there, and and I just I want to get my story out there because I understand what it's like to see the world differently. I understand the pain. I understand it, and if I get my word out there, someone who has a disability or someone who is afraid, because I'm not really a person that talks about myself. I'm not that kind of person who thinks about myself. I always put others before me, and so I didn't really want to ask for help because I thought that was going to be too cocky or I can't handle it. But then
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your story today. Jazz, you have inspired me. Thank you so much to Jazz for joining us today to talk about all things Causeway. We're going to be right back. Stay with us on An Hour to Give. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. I know I've been inspired today, and I think you have been too, talking all things Causeway Work Centre. The inspiration continues. Christopher Kelly's here with us. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great.
Good.
Your role is really interesting. Tell us what your title is.
So I'm the wellness coordinator for Causeway Work Centre. So I run the gym downstairs. It's in the basement, so it's sort of hidden away, off into the corner and downstairs. But it's where everything happens.
Where everything happens. So tell me a little bit about how you made your way to Causeway. What's a little bit of your work history?
Oh, well, I do way too many things. So I'm a personal trainer through the Sports Performance Institute. I teach at Algonquin with the police and public safety. I'm a triathlon coach, and I'm probably missing something.
Yeah.
So I wound up coming to Causeway through our previous director. I used to work with him actually at one of the clubs I used to work at, and got interviewed by him, and we sort of were looking at each other as if we knew each other, and we did.
Oh, that's funny.
It was a shoo-in. It's a very niche environment for me, but I do have a little bit of a background as I used to do respites when I was in Toronto. So always looking to work with people with disabilities, and so I got my dream job realistically coming to Causeway, and I'm so grateful for being able to contribute what I can offer there, for sure.
And when we think about wellness, I love the holistic approach.
Yeah.
Causeway isn't just about getting a job; it's about so much more.
Yeah.
Where do you come in? What sort of part do you play?
Good question, because we're a gym. So what does it have to do with work? A lot of things, right? So for when someone's looking for a job, it's totally different. When they're looking for a job, some people can't find a job, or some people are not right now are just not ready for a job. So what do they do in the meantime? Maybe they lack confidence. Maybe they need more social skills. Maybe there's just so many different things that they may need. So the gym is one place where they can actually do that. There's they get to know people in the gym, and they can start to build their confidence. They're working on themselves. So what I do is I create a structured program for them, for where they are at and what they can handle. And then it's sort of hands off. We're there to always support them and to keep them going and to see them continue. However, they're doing it for themselves, right? So that in turn will helps to build confidence, because as soon as they start seeing results from what they're doing, they start to feel better about themselves, and so that translates into when they're looking for a job, more confidence in what they're doing, and what they're looking for, and maybe even clarity. Right, so it's a really important part because in the gym, like I said, when they're looking for work and when they're in the gym, they're different. It's two different, or almost like two different personalities. So it's more of the social part of their personality, and it really does help them to really build that confidence for them to go out and look for work.
And I would assume as well that when they do become employed, that you're already starting to create that life-work balance, which
absolutely.
So many people struggle with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, because, just having said that, so once they've left Causeway and they're on their own, and maybe even in a different cities, because what I've helped them with created in the gym, they now can feel more confident even walking in a gym like a Good Life or something like that, where they may have been really intimidated because of the things, the stigma that's been attached to what they may have, right? So, and then again, that also translates into being more confident in their work as well.
So how many hours a week would you work at Causeway doing wellness work?
35 hours.
Okay, that's a big week for sure.
Yeah.
So give us a sense of how many people you would see in a day, in a week.
In a day, we would see about anywhere between 10 to 15 people. So, that's, just doing the math. It's 5 days a week because we're not open on the weekends. So that's a lot. And so we're not doing personal training for each one of them. However, there are some that come just for one-on-one. For instance, I have a client that has had a stroke, and so he cannot work on his own, right? So I'm there to do one-on-one work with him, as well as I have another client that comes in and she's in a wheelchair. So I do one-on-one work with her, and just that sort of thing on a daily basis.
And what I love about the opportunity to really, integrate wellness, integrate working out into this equation is that not every day is going to be the best day, but you can always continue to grow, right?
Absolutely.
And that's really where the sweet spot is.
Yeah, and I'll tell my clients all the time, right? If you're not having a good day, just come in, right? And if you're not feeling like working out, just come. You can sit and talk to me, right? Just to get them in to keep that routine going. And not every day is going to be great, but it's about continuing. It's about persevering.
Yeah. We heard from all of our other guests today. We've had incredible guests today, and we've heard from everybody about some of the wins and the successes. When somebody comes back, Christopher, and says to you, "Christopher, I got the job," or "Christopher, I got the promotion," tell me what that's like.
Okay, I had a client who came in, and his arm was amputated from just above the elbow. And when he came in, he was really down on himself and didn't think that he was going to go far. So I started to work with him, and he didn't wear his prosthetic arm. So I told him maybe we should, wear your prosthetic arm. So it didn't fit him. So I told him he needs to get it to fit. So he did. He went and he did that. Long story short, we were able to work with him, and he was able to look for work. And one day, I didn't see him for a long time. And one day he came in, and he said, "Yeah, I'm working for Purelator." So he was working for Purelator, loading trucks. Here he is with his prosthetic arm, didn't think he was going to do anything, and now he's actually loading trucks and working. Working, and it was just, that was the most gratifying thing for me to hear, that what we did translated into him getting work was awesome. Yeah.
Changing lives.
If I can make a difference, if for me, if I can make a difference, in whatever way, shape, or form, that's good enough for me.
So it's sort of the holiday time right now. If you were heading to a holiday party and you met somebody brand new, how do you introduce yourself when it comes to Causeway? What do you tell somebody?
I tell them exactly that. I work at Causeway Work Centre, and they will ask, "What is it?" And then, of course, you go into, it's what we're all about and what I run. I run the wellness gym, and just it's interesting to tell people what I actually do, because they actually become quite interested in it. What is it? What why are you working there? What are you doing? Helping people. Right? Helping people, making a difference in people's lives just by, introducing them to another area where they may not have thought they would be able to accomplish anything in. And that's what I do. That's what I tell people when I'm out there. I have no shame or I have no. I just like to tell them, what it's all about, what Causeway's all about.
Because I can just imagine you'd be a really great ambassador for Causeway, right? Out in the community, because you're doing other things as well and telling people about this organization. Because I think a lot of the times people in this community don't know about Causeway, and that's one of the reasons we're talking about it today, is because I want to bring as much attention to it as well. I've become a bit of an ambassador myself, to be honest, because when I learned about it a couple of years ago, I said everybody has to know about this, because there's so many components. We've used the term hub a lot, I think, in every segment today, that it really becomes this hub. You're a big spoke on this hub. So talk to me a little bit about how the integration works.
Yeah, that's huge. So we call it Grand Central Station. So we kind of support every facet of the organization. So whether you're an employee, whether you're in one of these social enterprises, whether you're working somewhere, we try to be flexible with our hours, and we try to make it feasible for them to get in there. And we try to make it as welcoming as we can, because remember, we've got different people in there with different diagnoses that have to work together in the same place, and it's not a really, really big gym. So we really work hard at making it work for everyone.
Yeah, no, and it is for everyone, and I think that's another really important piece here is that it is for everyone. What kind of jobs are you seeing people report back and say, Christopher, you know, I'm working, well, you reported back about Purelator, working in the career business. We know people are working in kitchens. What other jobs are you hearing about?
Lots of different ones, like I think the person that Juliana was talking about at the beginning, she actually wound up be delivering mail. Let me see. A lot of them are lifting type jobs, like warehouse type jobs. From what I recall, when they come back to me and they tell me, which is really quite amazing. You know, just for them to be doing physical work. Whereas they've never been in a gym before, they're working out now, they've got a physical job, right? So those are pretty much the jobs that I hear back when they report to me what they've got.
And when people arrive, are there people that have never been in a gym before, and you're the first? Wow, what's that like to be kind of that first contact?
I had a client, and this was when I first started at Causeway, and he looked ripped, and yet I thought he was just like, you know, in the gym all the time. And we got talking more and more, and it turns out he had never been in a gym before. And I'm like, what? So yeah, never been in a gym, you know. So you assume things sometimes, but yeah. So there are people that have never been in a gym, never been introduced to it, never knew that it was, you know, a life skill and something that is really important in their life. You know, I'm there, the first person just introducing it to them. So it needs to be welcoming. It needs to be where they're at, so that they feel comfortable and that they feel excited to come back for more. Right. You know, you don't want them to stop.
Yeah. It's consistency, right? Yeah.
So, and also, so a lot of the times I will get people that may stop, and then maybe about a year later, they'll be back. So I always expect them to be back. I always expect them to come back. And they do.
And they do. I think you're a pretty great guy to do this kind of work and to participate in the lives of so many people and changing lives, literally. Christopher, it's been a pleasure to spend time with you today. Christopher Kelly, of course, working in wellness at Causeway Work Centre. I know I've learned so much today. I thought I knew a lot about Causeway, and then today came, and I learned way more. They want you to visit them, of course, on their website. If you know of anybody that may be inspired to reach out and become an employer, they want to hear from you. If you maybe want to reach out and take one of these programs and participate, they want to hear from you as well. And if you can donate at this time of year, giving season is upon us, they'll want to hear from you as well. And if you can give them a gift at this time of the year during the giving season, they would be very appreciative of that. I'm Sam Laprade. This is an hour to give, and I love this time of week where I get to chat about all things that I love in this community. Thanks so much for spending time with us.